The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am.
Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? So, welcome to, this is episode 65 of What's the Story with Maria. Today is October 9th. We want to welcome you right away. Edie Gershman. Hi, Edie. That's my Rodan and Fields business partner, has joined us. Eddie Kutu of Blade Salon in Old Westfield, Connecticut. Rena Crunali-Berge, my cousin from Massachusetts. Kristen Piero, Jay Rivera, Casey Paradis has joined. Bobby Kent has joined. He's going to call in later on. Okay, Jay Rivera. Hi, Maria. Hi, Judy. John Pandish has joined us. Maria Filiomeni and Isabella Raskowski. That's my cousin Marisa. She's going to be calling in as well. Kristen Piero says, hot. That's for Judy. I know that. Johnny Tamaro. And, okay, we are getting, Denise Fennell has joined us. Unbelievable. I'm so glad that you guys have joined us right away. And I want to let you know that tonight's show, we are calling it the Midterm Election Edition. And there's a lot going on right now. So we're going to start talking that in a couple of minutes. The first thing I want to do is welcome Judy Mesa. She is our political analyst. She's been on the show before. Seamus McGuire. Seamus, congratulations on your wedding, honey. Seamus got married last week, and we love you. Congratulations, Danny. Edward Hahn has joined us. Okay, so here's some of the things that I would... So Judy is our political analyst, and she's been on the show before, and there's a lot going on. If you know Judy and you've been on her Facebook page, Les Hopkins has joined us. Joanne Maroney has joined us.
Hi, Les.
If you've seen Judy's page, Judy has a plethora of information, and she shares it quite often, and this would, she thought would be a perfect time, since registration, the deadline for registering to vote is, I believe, this Tuesday, October 12th.
For every state is different. For some states, it's passed already.
Oh, okay. All right. So some states you can still register to vote. Other states it's passed, and I hope you are registered. Whatever your decisions are, that's your decision. But we just want to get people involved to vote. And that is the purpose of our show tonight, to kind of wake people up, light a fire under everybody's butt, and say, listen, as Americans, as patriots, we need to be involved in local politics, in our country's politics, and just really care about what's happening. But before I do that, I really want to, it's John Lennon's birthday today. So John Lennon would have been 78 today, October 9th. He is a Libra, like Judy. It is Libra season. So if you're a Libra, hi LaDonna Byrne, she just joined us. Marie Sullivan-Baca has joined us. So if you're a Libra, happy birthday, Libra. It's Libra season, John Lennon's birthday. I know that Michael Isaacs is probably at Brandy's tonight with LaDonna, and he will sing a bunch of John Lennon songs tonight. So happy birthday, John Lennon in heaven. This week I did get my John Lennon stamps at the post office. Look how beautiful they are. So go and get your John Lennon stamps if they're still available. Also, Bobby Kent is a Libra as well, the 12th, which is the deadline for registration. Bobby, I can't believe it. 2 Libras I have on tonight. This is very exciting. Bobby's going to call in at 9:30 from Tennessee.
Nice, Tennessee.
Right?
That's a toss-up state over there, maybe.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. Ted has joined us. Ted the plumber has joined us. If you need a good plumber in the tri-state area, Ted Pankowski is your guy. Another thing that I wanted to say is Mess Hall, which is 2194 Frederick Douglass Boulevard in Harlem between 118th and 119th, is doing a special October, it's called Hall of Horrors edition. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays at Mess Hall, Harlem.
They have the best veggie dogs.
And regular hot dogs.
Well, but.
And 50 kinds of bourbon. And all kinds of craft beers. And in October, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they are running on their big screens, they're playing horror movies for the whole month of October, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tonight, I believe, is Night of the Living Dead. It starts at 10. Tomorrow night is Children of the Corn. How scary. They have special drinks, free popcorn. Stephanie Greco has joined us. Tom Howe has joined us. And they have all kinds of drink games and prizes. Yeah, it's going to be wild. So if you're in that area or you can get to that area, Mess Hall, Harlem, I'm there Saturday and Sundays. I'm the manager there. But please go and tell everybody hello and tell them that What's the Story with Maria sent you. All right. So we have about 7 minutes until our first caller calls in. Judy, I'm turning it over to you. All right. So you're reading and
Campanaro.
Yeah, I know. Krista Piero and Susan Campanaro. Forget it. All right. So what do you want to tell us, Judy?
All right.
Judy Patootie.
So let's talk about. I don't even know where to start, but there's a few. Obviously, I think there are more Democratic seats up for a re-election than Republican seats. So it's going to be a little hard for the blue wave that myself and many of my friends are hoping for. We have to be able to keep all of our seats, and then we have to gain 2 seats in order for majority rule of the Senate. Because if we keep all of our seats and only win 1, that means it'll be a 50-50, and then that means that Mike Pence unties whatever happens in the Senate. We don't want that to happen because it would be like they still have majority.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Scott Evan Davis has joined us, Michael Rizzo, Megan Doherty, Aaron Cherry, hi Cherry, and Mandar Marashi, who is our Mandar Chick Magnet. So go ahead, Judy.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Texas. I'm sure because we have a lot of there's a lot of ads right now for the candidates. And Beto O'Rourke, or is it Beto? Yeah. I don't know how you pronounce his first name.
I think it's Beto.
But he's gaining so much popularity, which just in itself is really, really amazing. I really don't think that I know one person, Democrat or Republican, that likes Ted Cruz.
That I will give you.
Right? I really don't know who.
Even my Republican friends are not big fans of Ted Cruz. Yeah.
So I have family in Texas. I should have probably tagged them so that they could. But some of them are actually Democrat and some of them aren't. And then I have friends in Texas who are Republican. But really, and with all honesty, I mean, if you've watched any of Beto O'Rourke's speech, if you've seen him in action, he's really so inspiring.
He reminds me a lot of Robert Kennedy. There's something about him that's very reminiscent of Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, I absolutely love him. I don't know that he's going to win. I think he's trailing right now, not by double digits, which is really amazing.
Texas? You had numbers tonight of how many people. Texas is a gigantic state. There's like 26 million people or something, like a crazy amount, right? You had numbers.
I did.
That I couldn't believe.
Yeah, Texas has 29, actually.
29 million people.
Yeah.
Is that possible? It's crazy.
Yeah.
John Roman Lars has joined us. Melissa Regina McNamara, that's your buddy.
Hi, Mel.
And Ryan Bristol has joined us from Colorado. So we got people joining us from all over the country. And we're focusing on midterm elections. Now, I happen to be a Democrat. Judy...
No.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't know that. And you are a Democrat now, but you weren't always.
Well, this is not... I'm not meaning this in any way. It's just simply the truth. When I was uneducated about politics, I was a Republican. And then as soon as I actually, and really for all the reasons why most people I know are Republicans, it's literally just, it's almost
some people
like,
are fiscal Republicans.
Right, which
but
is not even
not
a thing.
A rich person.
That's so weird to me when people that aren't wealthy say that they're fiscal Republicans. In order for you to be I actually met someone, like 2 days ago, and I had such a great conversation with him. He's a Republican. It was the first time that I saw someone being a Republican for reasons other than...
Listen, I grew up in Massachusetts. I had a ton of Republican friends. It wasn't the way it is now.
Right.
I mean, it just wasn't. It wasn't... If you had a business, you usually were a Republican. If it had something to do with finances, you usually lean that way. If you were more blue collar, you tended to be a Democrat. It was not the way it is now. I never remember this happening.
Yeah.
Ever at any
Well, I
point.
think I mean more like people that are just middle class telling me that they're fiscal Republican. I'm like, what? That's not even gonna. These laws are. Being a fiscal Republican is voting against you because the laws that you think are protecting you are actually not going to, because you don't make enough money to benefit from those tax cuts.
So what do you have to make in
like
order
over
to benefit?
over $1 million.
Okay, so if you make over $1 million
year.
out there a year, God bless you.
But if you make 200, it's not 300. No,
50,000.
400. No,
No.
That doesn't. That's middle class now. You know, here
Now, right.
in New York, everybody makes 400,000. You know what I mean? I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people do.
Right, and a lot of my Massachusetts friends are coming on and saying the same thing I was saying and agreeing. In Massachusetts, where I grew up, it was a very, very incredibly exciting political climate always, and my dad was very involved in politics, as was my mother, and they were both from Italy, but when they became citizens. But we never fought. You did not fight with your Republican friends at all. As a matter of fact, we were very much a community. We just wanted to be a good America, a strong America. And it's just kind of why we really want to get people going on fighting for yourself. So Ryan Bristol says the problem is Democrats will look at the issues. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. Ryan said, I was just talking about that with Maria earlier, because there was one Republican, I forget who's running in Nevada, I think. Was it Nevada? Let me check. Yeah, I think it's Dean Heller. And he's, people, and I have friends that are in government, and the truth is that when you belong to a party and they want some type of legislation that you don't agree with, it's frowned upon to disagree with it. They don't want you to, whether it's wrong or right. So the thing about Democrats, and the reason why I'm a Democrat, is because I feel like I make decisions based on what's fair. That's why I'm going to law school, because I'm very fair. I hate injustice. It bothers me so much. So I feel like Democrats make decisions based on, no, this is fair, and this is they actually take the legislation and vote on the legislation, where Republicans just vote no matter what, just whatever their party's doing, which is completely, then it brings on people like Brett Kavanaugh.
Liz Goldenberg said that Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line.
Right.
And that's kind of what you're talking about.
It's true.
So in about any minute now, Marisa Raskowski is going to call in. She happens to be my cousin. And also she is someone that we grew up blue collar kids, and she has worked her tail off, as her family has. Mm-hmm. And her kids, she has 3 millennials. And what I want to talk to her about, she's going to call in soon, is exactly how do you motivate, because we've been talking about that. We, like my generation, is definitely, we vote. And the generation before me, they vote. They don't miss anything. Okay, so Marisa's calling in. We want to talk about how to motivate younger people. Hi, Marisa.
Hi.
All right, I'm putting you on speakerphone. How are you doing, honey?
I'm great.
Okay, so
very excited about tonight's show.
yes,
Yay.
and Marisa was just visiting a few weeks ago, and she and Judy were just talking politics almost the whole time, right?
Yes.
So listen, just bring up your voice a tiny bit, because I have the AC on, and I want to make sure I get every word you say.
Okay.
All right, so how are you feeling about us coming up to the midterms? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What are you feeling?
I am nervous because the thing that worries me more than anything is motivation. I think people are either complacent or they're not feeling energized. And that concerns me. I don't want people going into the midterms thinking it doesn't matter. What I say doesn't matter. They're always going to win.
Right.
They're thinking their other side is going to win. And that just can't happen. We have to exercise our right to vote.
Right.
No matter what. Midterm, presidential, local,
Right.
PO, at every level.
Well, you are very much a person that is locally involved, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Now, Marisa, you said something about people not being energized to vote. What do you think is making them feel apathetic?
Well, I'll tell you, in preparation for tonight, I talked to 2 out of 3 of my kids.
Okay.
One is college age.
Yep.
One is a classic millennial, 26 years old. Those 2 are both history lovers, As young children, they were very, involved in politics. I've taken all three of my kids to vote every time I go to vote. So we're sort of a politically active household. However, the older one is so disgusted with the state of things that I spoke to him and his roommates, a couple of his friends, that they feel like their vote doesn't matter anyway.
Wow.
And so they're frustrated.
That makes me so sad.
Right.
But why wouldn't they want to get up and make a difference?
That's a normal.
Well, this is what I said to them. I said, listen, you can sit and complain and be complacent,
right,
or you can stand and demand to be heard.
Right.
You have to make your voice and your opinion known. They go, the thing with that generation of kids, just based on my upbringing, my kids are smarter than I am, more educated than I was, more exposed than I am. So they have a very good understanding of the games that politicians play,
right,
the nonsense involved. And so they're, they don't believe that what they have to say is incorrect because of the Electoral College. So that frustrates them.
I just had a whole conversation about that.
What frustrates me is it's not just about the presidential race. The real meat and bones of our political system is this midterm election.
Yeah. Right. No matter who the president is.
Yeah, and I think
that... It doesn't matter. It's the House and the Senate that's going to make the difference. And what Judy was saying, I love Judy. What she was saying is true. I mean, there's so many races, but we have 68 competitive races in this midterm election. Yeah. 11 of them are leaning Democrats. 26 are leaning Republicans, but 68 of them are toss-ups.
Right, so that's a lot.
If your vote ever counted, it counts.
Yeah,
now.
And I think also, Marissa, just to piggyback on what you're saying, the times where you go to the booth and you just vote straight down the line, that is because I think that unfortunately what's happening, like I was just giving the example of the Republican in Nevada, that guy is actually a good candidate. He wants to be able to make decisions based on legislation, but he can't because the Republican Party has now forced our government to literally make legislation about partisan. If the Republicans say yes, everyone has to say yes. It can't. We have to get back to a norm where there could be Republicans and Democrats, and we actually have a choice, and we can say no. I actually like this Republican over this Democrat, or vice versa, where we can entrust our politicians to make the correct decision based on the legislation that's at hand, not because of their party. That is absurd.
Absolutely, and if you talk to these, like the kids that I've talked to, they're very issue-driven. They're not loyal to the party. They don't care for party affiliation. And they're issue-driven. So, like my son said, for example, I'm frustrated about voting. Of course, I'm going to vote, but I'm more concerned about the question.
Oh, that's interesting.
On the ballot, interest them. So I'm like, well, of course, and that's when you start to really get to what affects them directly.
And let me ask you, because I don't have millennials.
I do.
You do? Well, you have an 18-year-old. So what does, but she's coming up.
What affects them?
What affects them?
Student loans. Student loans affect them.
Student debt is huge.
Is huge.
Absolutely.
But right now, student debt is it's not privatized. And the way that Trump wants to do everything, he wants to privatize everything. So if student debt becomes privatized, it's literally like going to the bank and taking out a loan and being declined for a loan because you have bad credit, who does that target mostly? Minorities.
Exactly.
And that therefore then there's people that are going to be less educated, more people that are going to be less educated because they can't afford to go to school. Right now you get a student loan and it's not based on anything. It's based on whether you have a criminal record, which I agree with that, and then you get to keep your student loan if you are academically in a good standing. But
or the rates, interest rates. I mean, it's nonsense that you can't negotiate the interest rates. I mean, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
You get to do that with a house, with a car, with an equity loan, but you can't with your student loan.
Right, that's true.
That's nonsense.
And how about?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and you also have two daughters and one son.
Yep.
So what are so you have student loans. All three kids have gone to college or are in college. So you have three student loans now. And does the boy and the girls, do they feel differently about issues that may just affect the women, or do they feel kind of the same?
No, which is what gives me hope. When I get frustrated and aggravated, I look to that generation. I have to say, and Maria, you and I have talked about this. My kids, thank God. We used to say when they would have their friends over, it was like having the United Nations here.
Right.
They have such a great, diverse group of friends, but in terms of social issues, they're all on the same page.
Wow.
This is a much more accepting, tolerant, loving group of people. So they get totally turned off by the tribalism
Right.
that we're seeing right now. And
That's
you know,
an
you talk
amazing
about-
word. That you're absolutely right. That's what it is. Tribalism. That's amazing.
It is. They're feeling tribal instead of, and when they said to me, well, it's issue-based, then I go like, okay, so who are you looking for? Who is your ideal candidate?
Well,
they want to be inspired.
They want to be inspired.
Motivated.
That was yes, but right now, in today, right, for next month, unfortunately, these elections cannot be issue based because there is actually no issue that we are going to be able to sit down and discuss like I'm talking about on the Congress level.
Exactly.
And we're going to be able to entrust these people to make the right decision based on the issue. That's not going to happen. So we need to get to that. In order to get to that, we need to vote in people that are going to make changes to our, I guess to our Constitution, because I think we need to get rid of the Electoral College. I had a whole...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that entire generation believes the exact same thing.
It's absurd. I had a whole discussion.
Tell Lisa, because I think you guys completely agree on this too. Tell her what you said when the Electoral College was...
So I was just going to that. I had a whole thread on my Facebook today with a few of my high school friends and others talking about the Electoral College, and they were like, no, it's one of them was like, it's embedded into our Constitution. We can't. And he literally said that he doesn't want our elections to be dictated by the tyranny of the majority. This is what he said. I mean, that's an oxymoron because tyranny, like Maria, is one person. So tyranny of majority is not even an actual thing. But okay, we'll let you slide with that one. So you don't want it to be dictated by the tyranny of the majority, but so let it get dictated by the tyranny of, like, let's say the South, because if you know anything about history,
currently in office,
exactly, it's absurd.
I feel like what we've lost. What makes me sad is I love a great debate.
Yeah, me too.
Because that brings you into what do I think about this issue? How do I really feel about this issue? How does it directly affect me? That's what the problem is right now with the 50-year-old white male who's feeling threatened. I actually understand it because to them they have that mentality of I'm just trying to make it, provide for my family. I want to mind my own business and move forward.
Right, and I understand that. I get that.
Them. So I think if we had some debate and some public discourse, maybe they would be more understanding, and we could say, okay, well, if that works for you, this is what works for me. Where do we meet in the middle? Because the middle exists.
Yes, it does.
Right, except, I honestly don't think there should be any type of discourse on whether or not I get to have an abortion. I mean, I'm 40, I'm not going to have any more kids. I'm not going to probably have an abortion.
Right.
But I am a woman, and I do have a daughter, and I don't need to discuss with a 50 or 60 or 70 or 20-year-old man what I need to do with my body. That's okay.
Right.
I'm a big girl. I can figure it out. So those types of issues, they don't need to...
I feel like we get caught up, you know what though, Judy? I feel like those are little roadblocks that they masterfully throw in front of people as like a shiny object.
Absolutely.
Nobody really cares about that.
No.
Most people are complicated. If the one side says, hey, I don't believe in big government, I don't believe in, I believe in states' rights, and I don't believe in the government telling me what to do with myself, ultimately, you're basically saying, well, then we all believe the same thing. Don't tell me what to do with my body. I won't tell you what to do with your land, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But it's the other things that are happening that people aren't aware of because they don't know. It's the judgeships. It's all these reversal of regulations.
Yeah.
What they're doing with the climate. That kind of stuff. We're being so distracted.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
These bigger issues, these more extreme.
Let me stop you for a second because Bobby's supposed to call in at 9:30. But Bobby,
Yes.
can you wait till 9:35?
Wait,
because I want to keep talking about this. Bobby, call in
Marissa,
at 9:35.
Just so you know, speaking of judgeships and other things that are actually important, when I was researching for tonight's show, I was researching Mississippi because Mississippi is having a special election. I don't know if we have any Mississippi listeners, but they're having a special election, right? What does a special election mean in Mississippi? There's all this background story to it. A special election means that all the candidates get to be put on the ballot without party affiliation. The reason that was done was for voter suppression, because in the when was the Voting Act? It was in 1965, I think, right?
Yeah.
Most of the Mississippi population was illiterate. So the Democrats were able to say, hey guys, I know you can't read, but just know that there's not going to be party affiliation. We'll just always be the first person on the ballot. So if you want to vote Democrat, vote just the first person, right? So the Voting Act said that you couldn't, there was a Section 4 and Section 5 that you couldn't like gerrymander, which means you couldn't draw the districts, whatever, and also that you couldn't ask for IDs when people went to vote. So guess what happened? In 2012, the Shelby, Alabama, sued the United States Attorney General, saying that Section 4 and Section 5, which were literally written in to protect voters, or to protect for non-voting suppression, they said it was unconstitutional, right? And they won because Justice Scalia and all those other 4 Republican and conservative senators said, yep, you're right, that is unconstitutional. Go ahead and take that out. So now you have to, again, show, it wasn't in 2012, they were able to vote without ID, but now they have to present ID when they show up to vote, which is a tactic of voter suppression. I lived in Edgewater. I walked in and out. No, they looked up my name. I went in. No line. 2 seconds.
And the point is, and this is the point we're making, and then we will have Bobby call in. I live in Washington Heights. Washington Heights is a very, very diverse community, okay? I at 6 a.m., I left work. I went straight to the polls. And I was literally 81st in line. I wasn't first or second. At 6 a.m., I was the 81st person. We counted. Judy, who lived at the time in a much more affluent community, walked in. There were 3 places. There were 3 places she could have. In her district, no line, walked right in.
Right. So my I'm gonna make up a number, but my district there's like, let's say 200 residents. We had 3 different places to vote. Maria's district has like 1,000 residents. They have 1 place to vote. These are all ways to suppress the vote because people get tired of waiting. They have to go to work. They can't wait in line. We're wealthy, so we're gonna be able to just.
The aspect that frustrates me. I live in a town. It's run by a board of selectmen. We don't have a mayor. We're 22,000 people. Do you know how many people voted in the last election?
How many?
A town of 22,000? 3,000.
No.
Wow.
Okay?
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
No, and I'll tell you this is because I'm actually proud of this. So before my daughter goes off to college, I say to her, Isabella, you've got to get an absentee ballot. We have a local election that matters, and then we have midterm elections. So she had a bunch of her girlfriends here for their big night before they were all going to go off to college. A house full of girls, we could only get 4, but we got 4. The next morning I said, what do you mean you guys aren't registered to vote? It's so easy. Your generation can do it online. We live in a small town. You can walk to the town hall, grab a coffee, walk to the common with your friends. So we took 4 girls, got them registered, got the absentee ballot, and got them to vote. They have to vote. That's the problem.
Yeah, you have to vote.
People that fight to vote, and then you have a generation of people who think, oh, it doesn't matter, or they stay away on purpose because somebody else is going to argue the point for me. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And if they keep in mind, okay, you don't want to get involved nationally because you're frustrated. Take it to the personal level. What directly affects me? there are things going on in your cities and towns, in your districts that get voted on that directly affect you. Go, find out. Google it. They mail you these great, in Massachusetts, they mail you these great books. It lists the questions. It lists the issues. This is the pro column. This is the con column. You make up your own mind. You go in, you check in, and you're done.
Yep, and Marisa...
There's no reason to not be informed.
There's no reason not to vote.
And I'm going to say this, too, and then Bobby's going to call in. Also, young people, and I mean this, just vote. You don't have to tell anyone who you voted for. You can say that is my private business, because I believe people are afraid that they're going to get picked on either way. Because I see a lot of people will post things on Facebook, and all of a sudden everybody's bombarding them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of that.
Exactly.
I like to speak my mind, and
but that's me too.
Know,
I like to speak my mind. But if you're a kid, a young person that doesn't want to deal with all that, just say that is my private business. Thank you, but I did vote. That's it.
Exactly.
Okay,
we're gonna don't sit and be complacent. Stand up and demand what is right.
Right. Marisa,
that's all we have to do. Thank you so much for
listen,
show.
I love you. We're gonna do this again, okay? Judy's gonna come on periodically as our political analyst, and you're gonna have to call in. These are important issues. No, because you're very involved in local government, and your kids are wonderful, and you get them involved. So let's inspire people, and we're gonna have Bobby call in now. But thank you so much, everybody. That was my cousin, Marisa Raskowski.
Love you guys.
Love you so much. Can't wait to see you. Bye, honey. Okay.
Yeah, so just piggybacking on what she said when she
smart,
said
by the way.
to get involved locally. The other day, I was sitting in class because I'm in school, and the professor was going down the list of guest speakers that we were going to have. I'll continue that after this call.
So Bobby Kent is calling in from Tennessee. Bobby, hold on, honey. I just put you on speakerphone and just raise your voice. How are you, love?
Oh, okay. So what am I watching here? You're not seeing it. Oh, it's delayed.
Don't watch. Remember this happened last time. Don't watch the screen, Bobby. Just talk to us like we're having a phone call.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm meeting Judy for the first time.
Oh, okay. So this is Judy Mesa, and this is Bobby Kent. Bobby Kent is an amazing musician. He and I and Lynn Portis worked together for years and years and years. Bobby was a New Yorker, probably always will be at heart, and then he moved to Tennessee. And so, Bobby, we've always talked about this. You also, I want you to talk about your daughters, because I think it's very important. You have a very diverse family. You're living in right now a red state. So just go ahead, Bobby. I'm gonna let you just tell us what's happening and what you think about this election.
Well, like we talked about the last time when you couldn't hear me because the phone was busted. It's a red state, but I've been here 20 years now. We've got 100 people a day moving in to various parts of the state, but certainly into Davidson County. Now, Davidson County is Nashville, okay, and it's blue, but there's surrounding counties that are red, and basically the counties that are blue is Shelby, which is Memphis, and Haywood, which is out in West Tennessee below Memphis, and us. And the strange thing is Tennessee, it's Al Gore territory. Clinton won here in 92 and 96. But what happened with Trump, I took some notes so I can...
Yeah, please, Bobby, I love this.
I am. Yeah, except I can't read my writing. All right, so the thing a couple of quick things, is that Trump won Tennessee by 60%. I mean, he got 60%, and Hillary got 34%. Now, that's kind of inflated because they couldn't vote for Hillary. A lot of the Republican guys, I know, I play in bands with some of these guys.
I know, you play with some great musicians.
Yeah, but some of them are, pretty conservative, and we've argued about this for a long time, because when Trump was running, I told him about the New York Donald Trump that I knew, and I said, you're voting for
that's right.
Who's a racist, whose father, all the stuff that came out in the news afterwards, because my family's on Trump since the 50s and 60s. We never liked him. So my friends are going, well, we can't vote for Hillary, and he's going to be our crook. And that's exactly what happened. He's their crook. They hate Pelosi and Schumer so much that they're accepting what Trump is doing, and they're all doing it. Because aren't we more amazed? It's like at this point, when is the bottom? There is no bottom. You know, and even the Republicans that are anti-Trump, they're going, well, you know, Blake and those guys. They said we're quitting the party, but we're still gonna go for him. You know, so they are part of his master plan. But the thing is, when Tennessee went for Trump, the only way we can get this back is in a Senate race. And I don't know if you knew what Taylor. I sent you some articles about what Taylor Swift did.
Yes.
Okay. Well, according to the companies that rate these things, something like 100,000 people around the nation registered to vote in her age group, and she was born in 1989.
And this is after she tweeted that.
Yes, right after she tweeted it.
Wow.
Like within 36 hours of her tweet.
Amazing.
And then 5,000 people, I can't look at the screen right, 5,000 people in Tennessee registered, okay?
Amazing.
I'm assuming that most of them are Democrats, okay? Now, you know, when the Dixie Chicks did this, they got rammed for it. But Taylor Swift got Donald Trump's attention right away, and he tweeted about her, which means that he gets poked when he does that. So the thing that we're going to lose the gubernatorial race, I think. Bredesen, Carl Dean was a pretty good mayor, but he's not strong enough to beat this guy Lee. But Blackburn was trailing up until this week against Bredesen.
Right. So Bredesen was the former governor of Tennessee, correct?
Twice, yes.
And he was very well loved.
Right, he won every county in the state.
Yeah, let's go Democrats. If we can flip that, that would be
But Bobby,
amazing.
let me ask you something. What makes him so loved, even though he's a Republican
He's not. He's
a Democrat in a
No.
Republican state? What is it about him that's appealing?
Because he was a really good governor and he was a really good mayor. And before Trump, you know, there's a lot of yellow dog Democrats in Tennessee. And there's a lot of Democrats in Tennessee, and there's a lot of people that would switch. But now it's sort of like Trump. What Trump has done is divided it into them and us, which was not
Right.
along. You know, and so like I wouldn't vote for Republican if he held a gun to my head. But they're the same way.
Right.
They see us as you know, like I said, Pelosi and Schumer, and they can't go with that. You know.
Which, by the way, I think they need to be replaced too. I'm ready for a new Pelosi
We're
and a new Schumer.
we're ready for all new people.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh, me too.
and we all believe in term limits. All of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Republicans and Democrats. I mean,
Including the Supreme Court.
yeah, first of all, the Supreme Court, absolutely.
I can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything should have term
9
limits.
years. Well, let me say this though about the young people vote too. Is like I was thinking about, you know, when I was 18, I had to register for the draft, but I couldn't vote. They changed the voting age, you know, to 21 a lot later than when I was 21. So my first election was Nixon and McGovern.
Wow.
Of course, I lost. You know, we lost. They lost. But, you know, we had no problem registering to vote back then. There wasn't, I mean, that's what you did, you know. So I think now it's just everybody's, you know, to me it's like if you put a voting booth in a brewery, they'll go vote. You know, that's kind of a silly thing to say.
No, but you know what?
I think people are focused on all the wrong stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And now I sound like that.
No, but you know what? You just gave me an idea. What's wrong with making voting places more appealing, more aesthetically pleasing, maybe having people bring cookies or snacks? No, but what? Listen, food would, I mean, I'm going to go anyway. But why not? Why not make it more community based where groups of people get together and then afterwards there's a lunch or a brunch or a game or something.
Yeah.
That's what I would do to motivate my students. I would say, let's go as a group, and then afterwards we'll have something. I mean, sometimes people are not going to get off their couches.
I think I have motivation enough just because I want good government. I mean, that should really be motivation.
Yeah, but that's
enough
because
for you.
you're older than these kids. I mean, look, I came from a family that was very, very politically involved. And I loved it, and I was charged, and I was in the student council. I was that kind of kid. I ran for class president, CYO president. I love that stuff. But the thing is, a lot of kids, they don't have that same, so maybe getting them there the first or second time and making something of it, what would be wrong with that?
Nothing. I think it's great. And the other thing that just dawned on me when I said the thing about 21, we're talking about 18-year-olds. You know that a lot of 18-year-olds still live at home.
Yeah, of
So
course.
they're going to vote like their mom and dad.
All the time. That's true.
Marsha Blackburn is from Williamson County, which is very wealthy and very Caucasian, and she has built a career on that. And the thing that she even admits it. She said, "I'm like the female Donald Trump." You know, she wanted to be on his cabinet, and I think she still hopes to be. If she wins, it sounds like, well, it's Tennessee's problem, but it's really not. If she wins, she's really going to have a lot of power because he loves her.
Yeah.
And
she's for building the wall. I read a whole article on her.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
She wants to
deportation.
go after
Yeah.
the sanctuary cities. She wants to what else? She's horrendous. I read everything that Trump wants to do. She wants to, she wants to do. Yeah.
Even more so. And the other thing is,
she's even more right. Yeah.
She took a hit on. Yeah, absolutely. She calls herself a knuckle dragger. She took a hit on that 60 Minutes episode about the opioid stuff, the opioid epidemic. And Maria will know, tell you another time why I'm involved in that. But in East Tennessee, they don't like her because of that. And so, East Tennessee, which is could be considered a very, right-wing area, even Chattanooga and Knoxville, they're pretty mad at her. So if they could get some of the younger people to get out and vote, but again, it's about voter suppression. Do you know that I know some black people from the church that we go to, and also from some other things that I'm involved in, that have been voting forever, and a couple of them have been notified that they can't vote now because of past felonies, which is a totally Republican.
Because of what?
Because of what?
Because of past felonies. I know a couple of people that got letters in the mail.
This is a new thing, right?
Well, they I don't know how they did it, because these two guys in particular have been voting since before me. They're a couple of years older than me. And now all of a sudden, right before Trump, when he was running, they got letters that they couldn't vote. And they tried to fight it. And it's like, I don't understand how that happened, but I know how voter suppression because of felonies on it. Because most, a lot of those guys and women would probably vote Democrat.
Right.
But,
wow.
but there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. And then when I confront my Republican friends about it, they go, "Well, you guys do it too."
Oh God! Like they can't even give an actual explanation of anything. They
really can't.
No, they can't. They can't.
And when they talk about it, the odd thing is that two of my friends, one's in Tennessee here who I play with, the other is in Florida, and they're both firemen. One guy's a retired fireman. So I know they're not racist. I know they're not, they'll carry anybody out of a burning building, and they have, and they save people in car wrecks, all kinds of stuff. And so I've asked him about that. I said, I know you're not a racist, and I know that you're not, against women's rights. But what's the deal? How can you go with this guy? And he said, well, we can't go with your guy.
We can't go with your guy, right?
Absurd.
Yeah,
I mean, that's so absurd. I wish we have the power as citizens, all of us, to stop behaving that way. That's so dinosaur to think that you have to think that way.
Well,
it's absurd.
Yeah, and you know what I think would be amazing? Because I got to tell you, I've had some incredible conversations with the other side, one-on-one. I mean, beautiful conversations that really are quite moving. And all it is, and I really believe this, that people just want to be heard. And I think that especially the white male, say between 50 and 70, or 50 and 60 right now, feels so unheard and feels forgotten. And because of technology and so much has changed, and they feel left behind. And they just feel like, what happened to us? We built this country. And now you've forgotten us. And I know,
except they didn't.
Well, but I'm in that age group, so I talk to a lot of guys that age. And the point is, if we could just sit down and talk and say, everyone is valuable. You are a valuable human being. And let's build this country back together. Because these hierarchies are dividing us. But they're not taking care of us. Nobody's taking care of us but us. We need to take care of each other. That's what I think it's really about.
And a lot of it is repeated stuff. If you read about like what happened in the 50s,
It's all repeated. It's all repeated. That's why it bothers me, because I feel like people, I'm like, all you have to do is pick up a history book. I tell Maria this all the time. It's all the same thing over. Just read. I don't understand. Like, I can't get it. We all went to high school. We all went to grammar school. You all took U.S. history 1 and 2. Hello? Do you not see? It's literally.
Right. But you know what? So, okay, Bobby, I'm gonna end it on this. And we'll have more political conversations. Judy's going to come back on, and you have to call back in, and, we'll just update each other. Also, I want to say for our listeners, Bobby and I have been friends for 25 years, maybe longer. He is a dad. You have 2 daughters.
I do.
And you are an amazing dad, and every time, I follow you, everything you do moves me. Your daughters are, and I know the great guy that you were just as a single guy, and as a musician, the fact that you've poured that love into your kids, they're very lucky to have you.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, that's who I fear for now. One's adopted from Ethiopia, and the other one has Down syndrome. And I don't feel like these guys are going to represent either one of them.
Right.
And, I posted out of my fear early on when Trump was running. But now it's becoming apparent that they are going to try to dismantle the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yep.
And she's going to vote in 2020. There has been people with Down syndrome who have voted in elections. And so, she's literate and she knows how to read. And so she's going to vote unless somebody tries to mess with that.
Yeah.
And my other one's 11, so she's not going to vote until like the midterms in 2024 or something. But still, it's like they can mess with our kids' futures.
Yep.
And I know I got an 11-year-old and a 16-year-old, so oh yeah.
I know.
That's kind of freaking me out. I'm old.
Listen, I know we've been through a lot, Bobby. But listen, I can't tell you how amazed I am by what you do with your kids and the way that your beautiful life and all the great things you do. And keep talking to your friends. Keep talking to your musician friends, and we'll keep doing these shows. Where we just motivate each other. And I love you very much. I'm glad you got to meet Judy.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Okay. All right. I love you, honey, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
Absolutely. Go Yankees.
All right.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, honey. All right. So that is my dear friend, Bobby Kent. Now, this show is flying by, which tells me that we have to do more shows like this. So we have about 10 minutes left to our show. I'm going to take a break. And we have to, first of all, Gina Savino came on, and we just pass us by. But you know what we do when Gina Savino comes on? Everybody claps. Gina Savino, everybody. Judy, clap. All right, that's my cousin Gina. Okay, so now, of course, we've come to the section of our show called, go ahead, keep eating. She won't do it. All right, so what did I make tonight? One of Judy's favorite. Do you want to talk about what I made tonight? Okay. So one of Judy's favorite meals. This is my pumpkin ravioli. Pumpkin ravioli there's some cheese in there. There's pumpkin in there. And I usually get it from Raffetto's, which is on Sullivan and Houston. But I couldn't get down there. So I got these from Trader Joe's. But so what I do is I make a butter sauce, which has butter, a little sherry. Then I crush up pecans. I throw them in there. I put a little pumpkin spice, a little nutmeg, a little cinnamon, and then cayenne pepper. I put a tiny bit of cayenne pepper. So what this stuff is right here is the crushed pecans, and it's off the hook. So we're going to eat that. And then for a fall salad, I made, and this of course is going with the theme of our show. It's a fall salad. It's a super greens is what I used. Red and Swiss chard, arugula, and baby spinach. Yes, you can have that.
And blue cheese for Vote Blue.
Right, blue cheese. I took blue cheese and I threw it in there, actual pieces of it. And then I have sliced pears, delicious pears, which I soaked in lemon juice. And then I have orange and yellow peppers and Persian cucumbers. This is our delicious fall salad. I'm going to put a pear-infused vinegar and extra virgin olive oil. That's going to be our salad. You know I love my salad. For dessert, what is more American than apple pie? We are having, smells delicious, an apple pie. Okay, so this is our food for tonight to commemorate our elections coming up.
So really quick, guys, I want to tell you what are the states to keep an eye out for. Arizona, where Jeff Flake is retiring. There are 2 female, a Republican and a Democrat running for office, and that's neck and neck. So maybe, hopefully...
Who's the Republican and who's the Democrat?
The Democrat is Kristen Sinema.
How do you spell that?
And then the Republican is Martha McSally. And I don't know why, but when I looked them up, do you know what they said about the Democrat? She's going to be the second bisexual. Like, well, who cares? They literally said that. Oh, she'll be the second bisexual person voted onto. I don't care. What are her stances on things?
Right.
I don't care what her sexuality is. Why is that even on here?
Well, they're going to throw that in. Mix it up.
I think that Cruz is probably going to win.
Well, don't
Texas,
say that. You don't know.
But
anything can happen.
Beto O'Rourke is doing amazing. And good for him. I love him. I think he's fabulous.
And he's woken up the younger people. That's
Nevada is also neck and neck. It's held by a Republican right now. The Democrat is Jackie Rosen. She's awesome. I actually like the Republican at this state too, but he's been given.
And he's Dean Heller.
Dean Heller, but he can't speak his mind.
His hands are tied.
Fidel Castro's not letting him. So Florida, I'm going to end with this.
I know, because I know you don't like.
I'm going to end with this. I lived in Florida for 10 years.
As a Cuban.
Florida. I really can't. Rick Scott was an awful governor. He's actually running for the Senate. Right now it's held by Bill Nelson. I think Bill Nelson is ahead in the polls, but
He's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat. Rick Scott is catching up because he has deep pockets. Florida, really?
Get it together.
Get it together.
Right.
You cannot, please don't vote for Rick Scott. He literally, I'm just going to end with that.
Okay. All right. So those are the races that we're keeping an eye out for. Okay. Most important thing, if you still have time to register to vote and you are not registered to vote, young people we're talking to, but there's also a lot of people that are in different ages that have never registered or just let it lapse or get apathetic. Please, you have a voice. Don't let people throw you into some apathetic pile where you don't care about your own life. And if you think that these things don't affect you, they do. Judy said, again, those tax cuts only affect people that make $1 million or more. If you make under $1 million, those tax cuts mean nothing.
Right.
They are helping out big corporations that don't give a damn about you. Okay, so just remember that.
And $1 million is like the baseline. Like, it may not even be helpful to you even then. So, yeah. So being a fiscal Republican, if I hear anyone saying that I'm a fiscal Republican, but they're making $100,000 a year,
it's not going to be good. Get out of her way.
I literally just leave the table. I'm like, all right, sounds good, buddy.
Yeah. And here's what I want to kind of leave it with. We have about 3 minutes left to our show. This is the most important thing, because we've become so divided, it's ridiculous. And it makes me really sad, because I know people on the other side, which is so crazy, because we all used to be together, and family, and friends. And as I said, I grew up in Massachusetts. There was not a big deal between Republicans and Democrats. Nobody cared, okay? We were all family. Just remember that, try to have one-on-one conversations. I challenge you, because I've been doing this week. I've been talking to people on the other side. One-on-one as a human being. Well, maybe not her, but this is my approach to life. I want to hear what people have to say. And I say, let's just talk it out. I want to hear what you're, I had a talk with a cable guy that told me his reasons, and they weren't offensive reasons. And people have said, no, I don't hate women. I don't hate gay people. I don't hate whatever. I'm not against that. I just always vote Republican. Okay. Or Democrats that have said, no, I don't want to hear anything about that. I just always vote. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. I know that I'm right smack in the middle. So I challenge you this week, and you can text me or email me and let me know on whatever, my page or What's the Story with Maria. yes, I had a conversation with someone on the other side. It went well, or it was hard, or whatever. Try to talk to people. This is all it is. We just want to be heard. People feel forgotten on both sides. Okay, whether it's the coal miners, whether it's the blue collar workers, there's a lot of people that feel forgotten, whether it's people with addiction issues and this opioid thing. We have to really pull each other out of this gutter that we've ended up in. Okay? Throw off our gloves and say, I'm a human being, you are a human being. Let's stop hating each other. That's the only way this is going to work. Otherwise, we have a long way to go. How much time, Jimmy?
A minute.
Okay, I want to thank Jimmy Bell. He's our producer and engineer and great guy. He always helps me out and saves my butt. I appreciate you, Jimmy. Armed Radio, armeddigitalmedia.com, Armed Radio Global. That is our mother station. Thank you for coming back week after week. This is What's the Story with Maria. We love and appreciate you, and I hope to see you next week. Next week, we got Joe Gullas coming back on. Okay, we love you. Thank you, Judy Mesa. Thank you, Elizabeth, Marisa Raskowski, and thank you, Bobby Kent. And don't forget to register and vote. Bye, Jimmy. Thank you.